Hello everyone, I hope all of you are fine. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, we would like to tell you about Graduate Research Assistantship in Canada. I have requested Olufemi to join me in this video. He will share his experience with you and a lot of information about Graduate Research Assistantship. I would like to introduce Olufemi. He has done bachelor's in animal breeding and genetics, and he did for some years he worked as a farm manager in Nigeria, and here in Canada he recently joined Dalhousie University as a graduate research assistant. So he's doing masters. So I would like to request Olufemi to tell more about his experience and about graduate research assistantship. Hi, Olufemi, please start.
Yeah, hello everyone. Thank you, Hamza, for inviting me to this to your YouTube channel. So, like he has said, my name is Olufemi Adekunle Oshonawo. I'm from Nigeria. I'm presently a research assistant at Dalhousie University under the guidance of Dr. of Gada Manafiaza. So, my experience before now before I came to Canada, I worked a bit in Nigeria. I worked as a farm manager at Long Cottage Agronomy Center. For my bachelor's, I studied animal breeding and genetics at the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. So before I came to Canada, before I got this admission, I'd always had the desire to study abroad, and I had to go online, search for information on ways and means on how to go about it. And with in this video, I'll be sharing the processes that I took and some of the things that I did before I came to Canada, before I got this scholarship, as case may be. So first and foremost, what I would advise is that anybody that has that desire, has a passion to study abroad, especially on a fully funded scholarship in Canada, the person must be very passionate about research. The person must be focused and know what he or she wants going forward. The most important thing is in graduate school, in getting admission, is number one, believing in yourself. That is very important because if you don't believe in yourself, there's practically nothing you could take you can achieve, you know. So you have to believe in yourself. You have to have passion. You have to be persistent and never say die attitude. Like you don't take a no for your answer. So there are different scholarships that you can get. Research teaching assistantship scholarship is just one of them. There are other various scholarships like Erasmus, DAD in Germany. There's Erasmus in Europe. There's Queen Elizabeth in UK, Children's Scholarship in UK too. But the most popular ones now at the research or teaching assistantship positions. So the way it is done is like if you have been able to discover your research interest or the kind of research that you want to pursue in your graduate studies, it is important that you know what you want to do. That was why I was saying the other time that you must make sure you have that passion for what you're doing. So I will say that if you know your research interest, that is like the number one thing that you need to do. Then you search, go online. There are over 1,000 schools in US, over 100 schools and colleges in Canada and some other countries. So just any country of your choice, but especially in US or Canada that I know of, just go to Google, search. Probably you're looking for a scholarship in animal science. Take for instance, you just Google search and tell Google to give you schools that offer an MSc program in animal science in US. Google will bring out tons of schools for you. So But you have to be strategic in doing this in terms of know the kind of school you want to go to, because that goes a long way, and the kind of lab or supervisor that will supervise you. So, but what I would advise from the onset is that you have to screen out. You don't need to really send emails or code emails to every professor in your field. You just need to be strategic. You have to look for professors that their research interest aligns with your own. That's more important because because if so that you don't waste your time in the long run. So it's important that number one, you have to have your research interest and look for schools that offer your course of study, and eventually go to the school's websites, go to the departmental websites, as the case may be. You'll find contacts of faculty members in those websites and their email address, so and their profile. So you can just look through their profile, look through their publications, past articles that they've written, so that you'll be able to have the idea of what they're working on, and you'll be able to send an email that is tilted towards that direction. And I will say that it's important not to send generic emails. You have to be specific. Like, let's say, take for instance, in animal science, there are different fields. Take for instance, a particular faculty member is working on metabolomics. You have to like know some stuff like basic knowledge about metabolomics, how it is, what is metabolomics, that kind of thing. So you have to have a background knowledge before you actually send email to that lecturer. And your email should not be structured in a way that it's like generic. Like, it must really address that particular faculty member, so that eventually when a faculty member reads your email, he or she will be interested in working with you, like probably organize a virtual meeting with you to get to know more about your insight interest, and if you'll be a good fit for his or her lab. So I think that's very important. And but before you do all those stuff, you must make sure that you have the basic documents. Like, you must have your academic CV. I know Hamza has talked about that in his previous videos, writing academic CVs, um, that kind of thing, writing SOPs too, that kind of thing. So you must make sure you have a very good academic CV. And again, you must make sure that you have your school's transcript or certificate, as the case may be. So these two documents are very essential, because when sending out code emails to potential supervisors, it's always advisable you attach your academic CV and your transcript along with it, so that eventually they'll be able to know the kind of things that you have been doing, and from there you can never tell. The faculty member can pick an interest in you, and from there you just come over. So, like I said before, my journey to graduate school was purely grace. It was God that did it for me, though I had to play my own part in terms of searching and make sure that I read articles, just to align with the interest of my potential supervisor. And eventually, here I am today. All glory to God for everything that He has done. So, but what I want to say is, for aspiring scholars, that don't be discouraged. Sometimes you might get negative responses from supervisors, but don't be discouraged. It keeps sending emails, keep sending it, just keep sending as much as possible. You can never tell the lecturer that will say, okay, yeah, come, I like your profile, and from there you get the opportunity that you've been looking forward to. So that's it for now, Hamza.
Yeah, thank you. You have summarized all those parameters which are considered when you plan for studying abroad, like from finalizing your research interests. As you have mentioned, you have to check the latest publications of potential supervisors, which can be for in which lab you can go. You have to just check their recent publication you have mentioned. Then you have mentioned some documents, and overall you motivated. Like there should be, you should be optimistic for such opportunities because it can take
Absolutely.
1 week to 1 year. Okay, so thank you. Now I want to ask some questions. My first question is to you: how you will define graduate research assistantship? How, what is it? And for a new person, a new student who is going to apply, what should he think about it?
Yeah, so basically, what research assistantship really entails is that, the way education is being structured, especially tertiary education is being structured here in Canada, is that virtually every faculty member, has grants from donor agencies, from government, from associations like that, which is geared towards research, purely research. And most of these projects can't be done by only the um supervisor, only the professor or the doctor, as case may be. So it needs capable hands, to execute such projects. And that is where the research assistant comes in, so but as a research assistant, you must familiarize yourself with that project. You must have the basic knowledge about what that project entails before you can be considered for that role. So that is just the major the major thing I can say about research assistant. But purely research assistant are just there to just assist the principal investigator, which is the potential supervisor, to execute those projects. It might be different projects in animal science, in plant science, in any field that you can think of. There's always a project that is funded, that is going on, that they want capable hands, to be involved in it. So that is the work. And before you can have that role, you must be enrolled in the institution, in the university, as case may be, whether as a master student or a PhD student. So as you're studying, you're also doing research too, and you get paid for it, because it comes with tuition payments and monthly stipends too. So there is benefit. And another thing is that if you're really passionate about academics or research or trying to like relocate to any other country, and you are so particular about getting a fully funded scholarship, just like in form of research assistantship or teaching assistantship, it is vital that you know that you are coming to work, like coming to work in the sense that your school fees is being paid and you'll be given monthly stipend, but you have to put in the work. You have to put in the work in terms of research on one hand, and your studies too on the other hand too, and everything must go pari passu. It must align together. So it is not a joke. It's serious work, and that's why I said you must be fully motivated before you can pursue this route. But trust me, it is worth it, and as you're learning, you're also learning. So that is how it is, and it's a very good experience for me. So far so good. So thank you.
Yeah. So I want to ask, like you have explained, like there are some monetary benefits like funding, monthly stipends. So I want to ask, there are two scenarios. One before apply, like one is during applying visa. Second is after getting visa and you are studying in the university. So as we know, for some scholarships like Fulbright scholarship, Commonwealth scholarship, you don't need to show so much funds, so much financial documents while getting visa. But for graduate research assistantship, as per my understanding, we have to show some financial resources. So I want to ask, like a student who has secured a graduate research assistantship in Canada, so at the time of visa, what kind of financial burdens he or she can face, and what are your suggestions how he or she can overcome? As you know, most of the students don't have those high financial resources. So I think this is the problem with graduate research assistantship appears. Like in other scholarships there is no big problems, but in graduate research assistantship at time of visa you need some help from helping hands. So what do you suggest at time of visa, what can we do?
Okay, so okay, very good question. Is a two-way thing. Getting admission, it's like it's in stages. Number one, you have to secure a supervisor. After you secure a supervisor, you have to get admission into the school, the university, most likely. And thirdly, you have to apply for your visa. You understand? These three processes are different stages, and visa application is quite different. It's like a different ballgame entirely from you're getting that scholarship, because visa application it's more of like the government is involved, and you know how immigration is like different countries, they have their own conditions, they have their own terms, they have their rules and regulations on especially when it comes to migration and immigration, as case may be. So for Canada, it is one thing for you to get a fully funded scholarship in form of a research assistantship, and it's another thing for you to apply for your visa and also get approved. They are two different things. What is required um, before I came, it is on the IRCC website that you must have at least 10,000 Canadian dollars. I don't know if it has changed now. I hear it's now 13,000 Canadian dollars now. You must have that amount to be in your account or in form of GIC, that kind of thing, for your living expenses. And this excludes anything, you know, that kind of it's like it's a compulsory thing. So if you get a scholarship, that removes the burden of you paying school fees. Do you get? So which is perfect. It reduces the financial burden on you. But on the other way around, you must also follow the rules and regulation in Canada, which says that you for a year you must at least have so amount of money in your account for your living expenses. I think this is just a way to just help people that are coming into Canada to settle down, because when you come, you don't get paid your stipend immediately. You have to probably like a month, in worst cases, probably 2 months. Within that 2 months, you must be living on something. Accommodation is there, feeding. So that money is just for you to just cushion that effect, like for that month before you start getting your monthly stipend. And it is a immigration requirement. Of course, you will need to pay for your visa application. And you will need to pay for your flight tickets, coming eventually if your visa gets approved. But you have to follow the rules and regulation that IRCC has listed down in its website. You can just go to their website, look at the requirements that is needed for you to apply for study visa in Canada. And there are so many things. There's something they call home ties, because you are coming on a temporary visa, and they expect you to, like, after your program, if it is a year or 2 years, you should go back to your country, because you are here on a temporary basis. So it is important to make the visa officer know that, yes, I'm going back to my country. Is it dig I'm saying? So you must establish that fact in your SOP when you're applying for your visa, which is very important. And you must show that you have enough money You must, of course, you show that you have a scholarship, and you must know the total amount of the scholarship and know the number of years it will cover. So these are just measures that the government used to just help its citizens, so that they won't be stranded, or they won't be cash trapped in any way. So which I feel is good. And moreover, again, when you come here as an international student, you're also entitled to work 20 hours a week. So that itself to also make life good for you eventually when you come around.
Sounds good. So now I would like to know like we will compare what are benefits of graduate research assistantship and what are some disadvantages of research assistantship, due to which students should consider famous big scholarships like Erasmus Mundus, Fulbright, Commonwealth, DAD scholarship. So what do you think? What are advantages of GRA? That's why we should come to Canada, USA, and some are negative points due to which we should consider other scholarships first. So please compare both of them.
Yeah, so what I would say concerning that is that, you know, as an applicant, you must weigh your options, and you must know, because there are two types of scholarships, like the one you just mentioned just now, the Erasmus Mundus, the DAD, the Queen Elizabeth, the Cheverton scholarships. Those ones, they are public scholarships. Like, plenty applicants from different countries apply for those scholarships, and uh, the people that are choosing for those scholarships are few, in most cases. So is highly competitive. It's highly competitive. So very few people, enter, win those kind of scholarships. But in the case of research assistantship or teaching assistantship, as the case may be, there's less competition, because it is potential supervisor that gives that scholarship. So if he finds you worthy of that scholarship, he will give it to you. So there's less competition when it comes to teaching assistantship roles. You understand? And and again, what I just feel is that those kind of scholarships, Erasmus, that I don't really know much about them, but I feel that they might not be research inclined, so to say. Like, the level of research in those programs might not be as the one when it comes to research assistantship. So if we are someone that is passionate about research, that's passionate about getting to have new ideas, innovations in your field, I think you should, teach towards getting a research assistantship role. So I think that is another advantage that it has over those public scholarships. But what I would just see is that most of those public scholarships, they come as full scholarship, like, they pay for your flight tickets, pay for your accommodation, pay for some other things again, that kind of thing, which research assistantship does not do. As a research assistant, you must pay your flight tickets to the country you are going to, maybe Canada or US, as the case may be. And although you'll be given monthly stipend, which is okay, which is not bad in itself. So you have to weigh your options, look at your profile, which, if you are a very good, you have a very good undergraduate CGPA, your profile is good, you have experience in a lot of things, in volunteering, in a lot of things, and you do that, you stand a chance to get admitted, or to get chosen for those public scholarships. You can give it a try. But if you know that your profile is not that so deep, you can say, okay, let me just go towards sending good emails to potential supervisors, because that is kind of more easier to get, because there are so many schools in US, so many schools in Canada, that almost every year, I with the current news that I'm hearing now, millions of dollars in scholarships and grants are most times unclaimed in most of these countries. Like, the money is there, but people are not claiming it. So there's a lot of potentials, towards that area. So, but if you have a very good profile, you can opt for those public scholarships.
Sounds good. So I can summarize your last answer by like you are saying in graduate research assistantship, you know from day first on which topic you are going to work, what is outcome, what will be the possible outcomes of your project, and what are your objectives, and what will be methodologies. You have some idea. So you keep you keep reading about them from latest articles, and you have a lot of information about research methodologies, research protocols. Secondly, almost you work 1.5 year or 2 years within a research team, so you know how to work with a research team, like 10 15 people in big project, you are a part of that. So you are learning every time a lot. But in other on other hand, we are not much sure about those scholarships. But what I guess, in them, I think in last semester they do research for 4 months, or maybe in last year, but they are not sure from start from what they are what kind of research they will do. So I hope you all will like this video, and if you have any further question, you can put in comments. We will make another video on that. So Olufemi, if you would like to say something, we have just 1 2 minutes left.
Okay, so thank you for your audience. I want you guys to subscribe to this channel. Hamza Jawad is a great guy, very brilliant, and he has a lot of things in stock for you. Please subscribe, share this video to as many people as possible, because you are going to gain a lot from the content that will be on this channel. So I just want to encourage everybody that just be motivated, don't be discouraged, keep your eyes on the goal, and everything will work out fine.
Thank you, Olufemi.
You're
So
welcome.
we hope we will see you guys in another video. Till that, take care. Bye bye.
Bye.